Alright, so we're here in the GT6 stream, and we are going to do our first reactor test. We have our reactor here. This is going to be a single core test. And we have a tungsten steel heat exchanger with a tungsten steel boiler, tungsten heat exchanger, and tungsten steel boiler. You can do a tungsten steel heat exchanger, but it's 10% less efficient. This one is 100%. The tungsten steel is 90. I'm going to have to run distilled water over, which I believe... Yep, this is our distilled water line, so I don't think this one is. Oh, this one is. Beautiful. So I just need to drop down water from there. And then that is going to be going into a steel turbine. This is going to do 128 heat, which is going to be, I think we figured out like 256 steam, somewhere roughly in there. I'll go over it at the end. So we're going to need a pipe for that. Let's get a bronze fluid pipe. That should be good, which technically we don't have to do. We could actually do this without if we wanted to, because we could just put the turbine right on the top and have that point up. Problem is, I would have to move it because the dynamo would then have to be on top of that. So we are going to do this on top of here, going into there, and that is not open correctly. There you go. And then I need to do the actual math real quick, so I guess we'll do it now. So if we look up steam, the tungsten steel boiler is going to put out 256 steam. And that in a turbine of a steel thing is going to be, we don't know, because it falls somewhere between 96 and 384. So if I bring up my calculator here, we can do 256 times, and it is 66.66%. Where in the hell is it? I could have just done the other thing, but where is my percent button? Go back to standard so I have on the percent button. 256 times 66.66% equals 170.6496. So 170-ish RU. And that means we have to use the MV electric dynamo because it's 176. Or no, that's EU. RU is 64 to 256, but we still have to use MV. So it's going to be paired with an MV dynamo, which needs to go that way, and that's where the power is going to come out. And the dynamo is 68.75. So if we then multiply our 170 times 68.75%, that means we should be getting on average 117 EU out of this. And I don't know if I have a MV battery box around here. To store the, ignore her, she's working on a thing. She's not staring at her shoes. She's working. I don't think I have a MV battery box laying around, but right now we're just doing a test, so storing the power is not a major thing, and we're going to run the power to our main anyways, so let's get to the actual doing this. Give me a second, I'll run the distilled water. I need to make the distilled water pipes, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, I got the coolant set up. Let's get out of the heat suit and in the universal suit, so this will protect me from radiation. And let's go grab our cobalt. So for cobalt fuel rods, well, for every fuel rod, we need rods. Makes sense. So we're going to take our cobalt dust here, and we're going to throw it in our extruder here with the rod shape. There we go. And actually, these only need rods, not long rods. So we only technically need 2. So let's do 2. And we already made the rod, the fuel rod, reactor rod, whatever. So we don't need to worry about that. And we have our long Cobalt 60 rods. We will cut those down into Cobalt 60 rods. And now let's go can these up. Okay, so that, there we go. We have Cobalt 60 fuel rods. Alright, now we got to do a little more plumbing. I did get the coolant, or the distilled water into the boiler. Now we got to get the coolant out of the tank and into the reactor. And we're going to be doing 256. So we need a pipe that is big enough to handle that. We're not going to need to run it for a long time. So what we probably ought to do, actually, these are going to be more than enough. What is the coolant? Industrial heatant, kiss my ass, Greg, is 1200K. Alright. So bronze will work. Let's look at bronze. And pipe, we need one that can do 256. Those are axles, not pipes. Alright, didn't I just see, why didn't I type in pipe? Where in the hell is my fluid pipes at? Am I blind? I know I'm blind. They're here, below the axles. Okay, 450. So we need regular, normal bronze fluid pipes, which is 3 units per pipe. And what we're going to basically do is this, we need to go into here on any of these sides. The heat exchanger outputs from that side. So the reactor needs fluid in this side and comes out this side. So if we actually take our reactor core, I do want to have a pipe, but we can turn that like that. And then we put 1 pipe there, and then we need 3 pipes back here. We could do it in the ground, but we're not going to. Alright, so let's get a drum. We'll fill a drum with coolant. Fill the reactor with coolant. And then we shouldn't need to pipe over from the tank. Those are not empty. These should be empty. No, that's very heavy. Do I have an empty drum right now? I know you're lava. No touch the lava. I might actually be out of drums. Amazingly. As many as I've made around here. Alright, let's, I'm gonna make the pipes we need, which is 4 and another drum, and I'll be right back with you again. Alright, I have us a bronze drum, so we can set that there. That'll give us a full thing of coolant, which we should be able to sit right on top. Do that, and now we're full of coolant. And with magnifying, we can check, and it says it's completely full because it holds exactly a drum of coolant. Alright, now we want to do this into here. We want to do this back into here. And we're going to grab our Geiger counter. That way we can make sure it's putting out what we believe it should be putting out. Put that there, which is the 256. Alright, so we should be ready for our first initial test. I either need a redstone switch or I need a soft hammer, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be turned off, which it is, until we hit it with a hammer, because everybody knows that when it comes to nuclear reactor technicians, you always hit the reactor with a hammer. That's just rule number 1 in the reactor technician handbook. When wanting to start a reactor, hit it with a hammer. Do I not have a redstone machine switch? I apparently do not have a redstone machine switch. And this is one of them I don't usually make. I usually make the automatic redstone machine switch. That needs a redstone torch instead of the lever. So we need that. We need that. Am I out of covers? I think I used all of my covers the other day when I made my things. Good thing we have a bunch of aluminum plates here. Do we have aluminum bolts, or do I gotta, or screws? No. I think I have some in here, though. Yeah, I have a whole stack of them. Alright, so that, screwdriver at the bottom, hammer at the top. Finally broke that damn hammer. Been trying to get rid of that hammer. Alright, so that stuff in the bottom. And we need that, that, that. And then I think my redstone bag may have a torch in it. No. No redstone torch. Do we have any redstone in the table? No. Oh, there's redstone torch in there. Aha. Alright, machine switch. And we'll take one of the levers. Alright, let's go start this reactor. Yeah, I know, Greg. My inventory's full of shit. Shut up. Let's throw in that so we can go away. Alright, now switch, lever, and here goes test number 1. Now, why is that 128? Oh, it is supposed to be 128 neutrons, which will make 256 steam. So, yeah, I did my mathificating correctly. We have 128 neutrons out, which should be getting cooled off in there. The reactor says input, which is our coolant, should be staying relatively why is the hot coolant going up? Why is that heat exchanger not heat exchanging? Full of? Why is it not outputting? Oh, Bear's an idiot. No, that is input. No, that's output. That's output to the adjacent. Bear is an idiot. So we need that face on the bottom. And I do believe, let's, hold on, before I do something stupid. Let's get rid of that. I do believe this one needs to go that way. Yes. Now it'll work. Okay. Aha. See? See, when Bear's not stupid, things work. Okay, let's make sure that the hot coolant is empty before we start this up. Alright. It is now empty. The pipe is still full. We're going to let it empty. Alright. Now we turn the reactor back on. Everything do what everything do. And we are empty on hot coolant. And we are staying perfectly even with our coolant. So there we go. We have a stable Cobalt reactor that will give us whatever the hell the number was I said earlier, 117 EU. So now, once this gets up to the center point, we should see a red light on the end of here, and that'll tell us that we have power coming out and the rest of the setup is correct. While that is doing that, two things. One, Yoshi, Crazy, and Tamra have started making a spreadsheet for all of the fuel rods and the neutrons that they emit, the factor, if they're moderated, if they're critical, all of that stuff. That's why Tamra's standing up there staring at her feet right now. I will put that table out in our Discord. I will also post it in Greg's Discord. I don't know if he's going to put it on his website or what he's going to do with it, but I'll make it available to anybody that wants it. Seeing how it's such a pain to watch these fluctuate. There you go. You can see the red dot right there. So we have power. Alright, so I'm just going to let this run. I'll run the power cables here in a minute. When we get done, But our next test is going to be, we're going to play around with a thorium reactor, which is going to give us, if we wait for the thing to tick around here, sodium. This is why we're making the spreadsheet there. So 80 mission and 8 to self. So that is why we have these, which are reflector rods, because I'm going to try to save on thorium and do 2 thorium rods with 2 reflector rods. And we will probably make another reactor chamber and try to do a multi-chamber build with this one. But I wanted to do something very basic here for this one. I will be making a separate video that kind of goes through the setup of the single core Cobalt reactor for anybody that wants to use it. It might be, I believe XAR on the server uses this for heating a large crucible. I think it's for his platinum, if I remember correctly, for T6 circuits. It's really nice if you just need something heated for a long period of time. It actually might not be bad to set up one of these over here under the air distillation, instead of running this power line all the way over here. We could literally just have the power go right into this line here and just have this ran off of a Cobalt reactor. And other than the fact that you got to have a boiler and the distilled water for that, which at this point I'm literally dumping distilled water, or needing to dump distilled water. Distilled water is pretty easy, but you run the line, you could pretty much set this little thing up. If you take out that pipe in the middle, move this over, you could have a little compact remote setup. You just got to supply water to it for small amounts of power. 117, that's not bad. Anyways, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we start up our thorium reactor. Have a good one.